So I wanted to show how to create your own headstock logos DIY using just a laser printer and some Modpodge. This is a glue-like substance you can get at just about any craft store. You can get it at Walmart or any of those other places. So what I've done is I have printed out the logos I wanted to test, and you have to reverse the logo. Reason being is this logo will go face down onto whatever you're printing, and using the Mod Podge, it will transfer the ink onto your headstock, for example. So the first step we need to do is cut out the logo from your printout, and you get as close as possible to this. It will come out a little bit cleaner, and once you've cut it out, make sure it's sized properly. Then apply some of the Mod Podge to the surface and just spread it out with your fingers or something else like a brush, and place it, like I said, logo down, and smear it all over. You might get a little more Mod Podge and place it on top and just let it liberally sit there for a while. Another printout, this could be your, in my case it's Jeff Caster. It could be anything really. So if you want a patent number, place it on there, and you could kind of see it setting up, and you'll start to see the logo taking shape and looking like something real is coming through. You know, I've always done this where I've let it sit overnight just to kind of cure, and that's all part of the process. And you could really do this in multiple ways. And I will add that there are also gloss finish and matte finish. Those I really don't pay attention to. I've always done the gloss finish. But the most important part at this stage of the game is to let it sit overnight.
The next day.
Alright, we've given it overnight to sit, dry, and fully cure. And you can see both logos are on here. The tools that we need to do to make this are the Q-tip, some water, and we're going to dip the Q-tip in water and start to rub it on. Reason being, we are trying to remove the actual paper from the object, leaving behind only that paper and ink that are used as part of the logo we want to keep. I know that may be a little confusing, but we just need to go in there and slowly and surely peel it away, taking a lot of care because you could actually rip off your logo if you're not being careful enough. But just spend some time. It'll, be easy. The biggest worry that I think some folks have are if you have a guitar body that you've done a design to. For instance, I've seen one where they did a comic book cover. But, you don't necessarily want to dip that whole body in there because moisture underneath any finish, is hard to get out. And a lot of people have spent a lot of time in order to get it. But just taking the Q-tip or even your finger, get it wet and start rubbing away the paper. And you'll know when you've gone far enough because all you start to see are the logo. And at this point you see where I rubbed a little too much off. Not a big deal. You can just sand that and start over. But you start getting the idea of what's going on, and you start to see that this looks like an actual water slide logo that was made for this, amazing block of wood I found in the garage. So I'm also going to do this to the other side. I did the old Fender spaghetti logo, and same concept. Just taking some water, taking some time, and going over it bit by bit. Mind you, I only have a black printer, so, the same concepts would apply if you had a color laser printer. Admittedly, I haven't tried this with a inkjet printer. I've only done it with a laser printer, and from what I've heard, this is what you do need. But taking your time going through it, you'll start to see that even in this lightly printed, I think the printer settings have this in an ink saving mode. And that's something I definitely would change in the future, but looking at it, that looks pretty darn good. So once you're happy with the amount of paper that's pulled off and the look of the logo, your next steps are really just to let it dry out and go over it with a clear coating of your choice. I've been using just a clear lacquer to go over it, and I know you can use a poly or lacquer or any other finish of your choice. You could even use a lightly tinted color to go over it. I experimented with there. But this picture you can see where I got a little overzealous in the scraping, and you can see where the Telecaster is rubbed off a bit. It's always a good idea just to go over it and make sure everything is removed from there, because once you clear coat over this part of the logo, that's going to be preserved, for the life of the instrument. I'm sure at this point there will be those in the crowd that will cry the let's turn all of our squires into fenders. That is up to you. I'm just showing you how you could print out a logo all by yourself and transfer it over. Likewise, you can do anything. For example, I took some scrap paper and put it on a little piece just to see what's going on, and in this case you can see through the image transferred through, but you can see the wood grain below it. That would be nice if you have some really nice wood that you're working with but want to have a logo there, just to see through it all. So right now all I'm going to do is let it sit, dry out, and prep it for the next stage of clear coating and seeing this turn into something fun. I hope y'all like the video, and I'll be doing other projects like this in the future.